Welcome back, dear audience. Welcome back. Oh, shooting a second video today. This week I went to judo, to gym, and dance. That's what's up. That's what's up. So I got some rhythm going here, and once this is, you know, gym, martial arts, dance. That's really like I don't know, if you would be able to do anything you want in life, what would you choose to do? So these are the things that I would do. I would do judo, dance, and gym. That's what I would do. Then you would ask yeah, but that's not enough. You gotta make a living. Then I would say, okay, then running a business. Gym, judo, dance, running a business. That's what I would say. And then the fifth one would be running the world. I think that's my plan. you know, you gotta have a good base. Because you can always go to do the gym. Most of the time you can do the judo. Most of the time you can do the judo. And most of the time you can dance. These are always sort of like available, and they're kind of something that you can rely upon. And trying to say, what I'm saying is that you should get your activities. I wanted to get like more art, like maybe DJing a little bit and stuff like that, and maybe I'll pepper some of that too. But but one thing at a time to keep that stability going. And I'm talking about like rebuilding my life basically, through different uh, mechanisms of motives of the way my brain works. It is really like adapting and rewiring everything to live on this side of the coherence. It's quite a metamorphotic process. But anyway, I guess it's supposed to be fun. I guess that's just like the most incredible event in the cosmos. So we better enjoy it. It is enjoyable, it is fun. But it's challenging as fuck too. It's like accepting the scale of the challenges. You need some cojones, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, what was I gonna say today? What was I gonna talk about? It's very simple. The only problem in life you have is that Matrix is fucking with you. That's it. That's the best attitude to have. That Matrix is just fucking with you. It's not for real. You see? You imagine something, let's say for example, keep imagining something and you like put all this energy there and everything, and it's like, oh, why this thing is not coming, and or it's coming sort of like messed up way, and you're like, because the Matrix is fucking with you. It's gotta be that. But the thing is you realize like, oh, Matrix is just fucking with me, it's not for real. Then you don't take it seriously and you remain in whatever you're imagining to be your primary reality, you see? And you look at everything, okay, Matrix is just fucking with me. And then you can go like, good one, I almost fell for that one again. Good one. And you know what it does to you? I can see that already. Like, because you're not emotionally bound to the world anymore, you become a type of chill, aloof, but the good one, not the psychopathic apathy. I'm talking about, that's what people call compassion. Compassion looks like the person, of course, they're not emotionally engaged into dramatic nonsense and whatever. Just there's no hook there anymore, right? You cannot extract energy from that person this way. Because if the Matrix can extract that energy that way, they will try. It always will fuck with you and try to taunt you and, and tempt you and do all sorts of things so it can fuck with you. But it's always going to be just messing with you. That's the thing. If you ever wondered of like why you're just beaming out all this, love and light, and then the crap comes back, that's why. It's just fucking with you. It's a joke. It wasn't for real. It's a joke. It's just a joke. It's just a fucking joke. So then you don't take shit seriously. And you take seriously something that what you're dreaming up. That's to you is serious. What's coming back as that feedback is not serious. You see, if you look at life like that what comes back as a feedback is not serious, and it's not even a reflection of what you have done. That's another fucking lie that they're telling you. This, inadvertent psyop that's happening. So the world is not the reflection of you. The world is fuck you reflection of you. You see what I'm trying to say? You can be beaming all sorts of wonderful things, and it will still come back at you with flipping you off. What's up, motherfucker? So that's why you don't look for the feedback in the physical reality. If you do not look for the feedback in the physical reality and you just let it be the way it is, because it's always is definitely going to fuck with you. So you have no expectations, but strong imagination and no expectations. And maybe you may even laugh at when it comes your way. You would be like, okay, good one. Haha, good one. Very funny. I imagined this and you came back with the opposite. Okay. Very funny. Good one, Matrix. So Matrix is supposed to be a test. It's also it's a tyrant test, it's a simp test, it's a great test. But the ultimate test is it's like to test you for this arrogance of being God. That's the ultimate test. It tests you like, oh, so you think you figured the fuck out, huh? You think that you're fucking creating world right now and you're in charge of this shit? You think that? And then boom, the opposite for you comes back, right? To humble you. And to realize that, hey, there are laws to follow. You ain't gonna get away with shit just because that power is there. You see? You have power, but the power has to be used according to the laws. And you cannot try to break these laws because that's having a tantrum. So ego is like God having a tantrum. You see? Even if you stop having a tantrum and start doing all the right things, technically it would be like, oh my God, if this is actually working, then fuck, I'm God. Like, fuck you, everybody, fuck you. No, it's not gonna work. This is like, yeah, there is a way to things. And you have to accept that there is a way to things. Then you're going to be sort of on the ride for the wave that is happening already, right? And you realize that you are not doing it. It is happening. So you're not any kind of freaking authority. You're not even kind of anything. You're just allowing that energy to do its thing, what it does best, You surrender your authority to that energy and let that energy do the shit. So you see, that's why there's no this even idea of like being God, because it makes no fucking sense. And sometimes people say, "Oh, you're God," having human experiences, and like, shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you talking about? This is just another way of creating another ego of being God, which is the worst advice you could ever give to anybody. You know? So, we are not God. We will never be God because we're that entity that speaks and talks and all that stuff. But the energy of God can be running through us. And the only control that you have is to turn it on. Then it's impossible to micromanage it, control it, or it is like a spontaneous unfoldment. It's impossible to control it. So how can you take the credit for something that's already happening and saying, I am God? You see what the fucking joke this is? And then it puts you in exactly where you are supposed to be. You're not God. There's a way to things. And if you go with the way of things, that is the best stream of consciousness to be in. You go with the way of things. That thing already has the intelligence. So you're not claiming that like, oh, that's me who's doing it, because that would be dishonest, because that's not what's going on. But you can take a credit for accessing that, because it took courage and it took surrender. So, you can say like, okay, at least I'm playing the game. But you know that you cannot take no freaking credit for that shit. Because taking credit for that shit or gatekeeping that shit, I shouldn't call it shit, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's just a trick. It's just another joke. So not enough that Matrix will always try to mess with you, even if you do all the things right. So they can humble you to say like, there's a way of things, right? What is the way of things? Okay, you do all these things and stuff like that, and you want it to work out, this specific way, right? And the way of things is gonna give it to you in a spontaneous way, in its way. And so that's the problem. So I'm not saying that like I'm asking something that it's supposed to be like this particular way, and it can give me the same thing, but you have to surrender to the way it wants to give it to you, so to speak. Does that make sense? And at first it will come as the opposite of thing that you wanted, or it will come something that almost exactly, but like one thing that is a deal breaker. That's what happen. That's happened to me too. And and then you think like, what? Like, I've been doing all this stuff correctly, and you see, that's exactly right. It's because to freaking humble you and say like, hey, yeah, you've been doing this thing correctly, but you don't get to fucking claim any credit for it. That it does not mean that you're going to be superior to the way of things. The way this is programmed, the way the code is written, you have to allow it. So you have to even expect the joke coming your way. You see, like you manifest something, but something comes in, but it's like with that string attached, just like in that episode when Rick was basically debugging all of the deals of the devil. I'm trying to say, the devil was running a shop, selling stuff that beneficial on one way but detrimental in the other. It's just like you're selling your soul by settling for something that is not exactly what you ordered. That's exactly what you're doing if you fall for that. That's why it will come as a test, and you're gonna say, okay, I get it, it's a test. No, that's not. I don't want to go in that type of energy exchange. No, I'm fine. But also don't take it personally, because it's just a matrix Joe. It's a way of things. So when you know that's the way it goes, and if you know that you're going to trying to create something specific that you wanted in your life, it will come almost the opposite of that. You say, okay, haha, very funny, and then it will come better than you could ever imagine. Okay, that's the way of things, and it's checking you for the arrogance. It's checking you for testing you through and through, for you to go to the space of life where you are aware of what is happening. You're aware of like your powers and your limitations and how it all works. And now you can play the game by the rules that is meant to be played, knowing it is a game. Because this last test, what it comes in, it's like almost, it's like sometimes could be so demoralizing if you take it seriously. But this is what I noticed, like, oh, you gotta take it as a joke. And that's what I did. Of course, there's a lot more nuances there to uncover, which I haven't yet. But at least this is like where I'm at, and perhaps that lightsaber could be sharpened even more. But as long as I'm in the process of sharpening and sharpening and sharpening it, see, that's what I would call pulling out your Excalibur sword. You're sharpening your saw, your blade. It's that blade power. That is the work of consciousness that we do here as alchemists. This is why alchemy is tied up to wisdom directly. So the wisdom, to me, it seems that like, oh, the wisdom is actually, what it actually means. It's wise to do the things the way you do. And you can be super fucking wise. You come across as super wise because you know the way of things, and you know how it all works, and you know how to play it, and you know that like when these tests come in, and that they are tests and things like that. And that's where I'm at. And honestly, it's still quite uncertain place to be in. Like, I can't say that like I'm completely at home with it yet, but like, if I'm honestly speaking, but I do have like maybe 80% of the time, like I live through clarity. And it's amazeballs. It's so amazeballs. And like many of my clients, when we do sessions, it's very difficult not to tear up, because it's this relief of trying to control something that works by itself. So it's a pretty incredible relief. And this internal flip of consciousness, this is what I do, and this is what I'm going to promote more, because so far I'm having maybe a couple of sessions a week, but I have way more time to ramp that shit up. So I want to do more of that, because it's so dope, it's so cool, that it's the dopest shit to learn, and I want to be teaching that to people. I think that's like my destiny and my capacity. And I'm always going to do one-on-one. I'm not going to do group shit, because I know it doesn't work like that. And it's limited, and that's okay. and and I don't need to bend over backwards to try to make a corporation out of it. You see what I'm trying to say? No, it will always remain just me and the person. That's it. Like, it's my time, and you're paying it for my time, which is in this world fair. But what I'm teaching you is infinite. So you're paying something with the return on investment is the most that you can have for your money, and that's exactly what I'm gonna put on my promo. It's the most that you can buy for your dollar in this life. That's gonna be my sales point. Just the truth, you know. And that's my marketing. But honestly, I have to do a little bit more of the, like do the shorts and shit like that, and play a little bit like that algorithm game and stuff like that. But you can play it nicely as well. There is a way still to play, as long as, it's so corrupt right now, but there's still like a sliver of it that can be functioning nice, and it still works. There's still some, if you follow a specific protocol, there's internet is pretty good. But, and that's what another thing that I want to do. I want to, the internet protocol, and have this as like governmental thing, where Web 3.0 becomes an official internet protocol, and everything has to be running according to that protocol. And so that can revive the internet. It can, because internet is dead, dead internet theory, because it is kind of right now, but you can revive it by creating an internet protocol that there's no like corporation bullshit over there. There's none of this fucking, psyops going on. It's just the internet that was supposed to be and how it was imagined in the 90s. But you can still have this through that protocol. Imagine you connect your internet, you just said the Web 3.0 protocol. It's officially recognized by the government as every citizen has a right to use the internet and the Web 3.0 protocol, right? That law must happen. This is one of the things that I also want to work on. I want to work on that law, to pass that law. And another law that I really want to work on is to take away the entity rights from the corporations and turn them back to utilities. That's also the massive, and all the shit the problems that you have, where humans are trying to interact with automatic machines and getting frustrated the crap out of their fucking brains. You see, it is a type of taunting as well and fucking with you. And it is done because that law permits them to be entities, to have an opinion, and no, they're tools, utilities. You cannot have an opinion. If somebody fucking tells you that the tool is messed up and is broken, and then you have to close 20 different ads before you can get to it, then it is fucked up and broken. It's in your face. You see, that's why it is fucking broken. Ads, by the way, in Web 3.0 are banned. You don't get ads. Nobody needs to advertise in the way that you know. Their work, where you go there, you look at their work, whether it's a list, a page, a simple freaking, list of things, of companies and whatever, and then that's where you can find what they are and stuff like that. But because you asked for it, you said, okay, I'm shopping for this. Show me what you got. And then that is where the advertising is supposed to be. Or I should call it promotions, because then it's different. You can promote, but you cannot advertise. Because I know you may say, okay, you're going to be kind of, have a tough one with that one. Yeah, it may take time, but I know that is the right way. And I know that includes all the, right now, podcasts that are paid to do the advertising. Not that they have like a guest own, that runs a business and whatever, and and they're doing a movie or whatever, and you just promote that, then that's legit, right? But when they stop talking and another entity is moving their fucking mouth, because you see what I'm trying to say. Maybe right now it'd be like, oh, that's not a big deal. You have to survive somehow with your podcast and stuff like that. That is still not Web 3.0. That is still something that the free person that meant to be podcaster is now influenced to say something through their mouth. That is already corruption of the free speech. You see? But if the guests come over and you genuinely want to speak with that guest because they're releasing something cool, legit, totally legit. That's a promotion. That's not advertising. So these are the things that I really want. This is my actual freaking dream. The last thing I thought that I would be excited about changing the law and enforcing it, but this seems like the most that you could do in a physical reality to have like a nice experience. It seems that you have to, like, yeah, So that's another thing that I want to do. I want to work on the protection of the law and just and coherent and fair law. Like that works. That is, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, which is supposed to be. And this is how actually the country can become a protectorate and not the government. Okay? Which is a different thing. Anyway, hope you enjoy that. That's my little rant over here. So what we talked about is that the Matrix is messing with you. It's just messing with you. Don't take this serious. Everything's gonna be alright. Okay? If you're alchemizing the energies, if you're playing with theurgy, and and thaumaturgy, and you experience the outcome in your imagination, if you keep doing that, and the Matrix still gives you like the opposite, take it as a joke, laugh about it. Which, by the way, another way of how do you cope with the fact that you're in this type of circus world, and there's so many ridiculous things that are going on that is just so far from sanity. How do you cope with that? Comedy and humor. That's well, actually, that's the most healthy response to that. Circus is to be entertained by. That's the most healthy response. And this is why comedy really checks people's egos, because it mocks them, and people are laughing and say, "Oh yeah, it's really like that. Aren't we fucked up? It's very funny," And so it's like that. People realize that they're fucked up. So it's the type of truth telling. Comedy is a truth telling. I mean, you're not surprised seeing so many comedians right now leading the thought. You would say like, no, these are not serious people and whatever. But the result on the world that the truth can be spoken through comedy. You see? This is a fact. To real comedy, not the fake comedy that's been bought for. Okay? The real comedy. And then it's nice, it's fun. And this is like the most healthy response as well, is to laugh at how the Matrix is, how ridiculous it is. Because there's something about this Matrix code, has that final test over there. It's just this. If you know this one, and I'm actually seeing this one, and I'm gonna see what it's like to live through that perspective, that it is so that between the flower and the fruit, there is this thing that does not give you the fruit the first time. It's like part of it, like it's like a code. It's like, if somebody's, that somebody's gonna be swinging at you. They're swinging at you, so you have to like this, because it's messing with you. You swing up like this, and then you come in, bow with the elbow, out. First round. And that's what it's like. And you see, you can figure out of how to play the game of life. You can totally do that. So you see now that even if you do everything right and things come back backwards, even if that happens to you, it's a joke. Okay, it's just a joke. Haha, because I know that I've already created this thing. This thing has to be coming. I'm living it already. And so the matrix can joke around about it that it's not coming. Haha, very funny. And then you stay with your imagination. You don't fall for the trick. Don't fall for the joke. Fuck, like, as I fell for the joke so many times. Oh. I'm gonna do my best not to fall for it anymore. Alright? That's the same thing I wish to you. Peace, and I'll see you in the next one.